Okay, let's see. I think I'm live now. Cool beans. I just posted there on YouTube on that same chat. We are now live, I believe. Gonna make sure we've got everything working, looking good here. Click that button. Neato. Neato. Groovy. Okay, I think we're good. Let's do a little bit of weed for a short live stream. It's gonna be fun. Over, welcome, man. Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciated your comment earlier, before the stream started, I think. Thanks for joining us, man. I think you are our first here. We'll dedicate our first weed, whatever we do, to you. I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Over. I hope you are doing great as well. Happy to have a review out finally for some people. Should be some stuff for at least a little bit. I've got a nice log built up, so ready to release. We'll talk more. Let's go get the weed started. Glad everybody is here. Welcome, Rhode Island. Good to see you again, my friend. And Roots Calhoun's Tom MacDonald, Full Body Sibian. Think I got all that. Welcome. He says, hey, brother, it's King Yeti. Well, we know King Yeti. I've been trolling a friend of mine. Well, I'd say with that name, it's got to be for some kind of elaborate purpose. And Hemp Rocks, thanks for joining us. Let's get some weed going here. Let's start, make ourselves a bag. All right. Well, thank you everybody for Hemp Rocks. Oh, well, thank you, Hemp Rocks, if you are she, I, if you are letting me know your pronoun preference. Very cool. Thank you. If not, I'm sorry I misunderstood. Fur Bear, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us in the live stream as well. It's been a while. Okay, let's see. Grovel, our Fred Grovel, our oldest Fred Grovel, and I think our oldest chat moderator. Welcome back, Grovel. Good to see you, man. Yes, and it is 4:20. I tried to time it for mostly this release around 4:20 East Coast time, even though I'm on the West Coast. But YouTube doesn't let you set premieres for anything other than the 15 minutes, so you can really only ever get it approximately. But you understand. GTR0, welcome back. How are you doing? Good to see you. Gotcha. I think Hemp Rocks. Anyways, okay. Very cool. I know, sort of out of the blue, but I have been working on weed stuff for quite some time, and just been waiting for a big enough backlog to put some stuff out. So I should have reviews at least 2 a week for a month, sort of the way we did it before. A cartridge review and an edible review. There'll be an edible review out this Thursday as well. We'll have some stuff at least for the next month, hopefully quite a bit longer than that. But it's been great. It's been fun being back out there and enjoying weed. Filming more different cool locations. A lot of cool stuff coming up. So I'm really excited. Of course, Grovel, you are the mod, the original OG. Weird that OG and being the word, and OG, both 2 letters, both refer to these sort of foundational whatevers. Interesting. Yes, Roots I don't know if King Yeti, if this is your original account, I thought you got modded. I'm not on the YouTube platform, so I can't actually mod or demod anybody right now. I'm on a third-party platform, so may the trolls reign free. But I would love to, benight some more mods in the future. I am perplexed as to what Hemp Rocks is trying to elucidate, but maybe it'll be clearer soon. Hemp Rock says, I've never been knowingly cheated on. Good for you. It's apparently a pretty awful feeling. I don't think anybody has ever been, I guess I'm more tolerant of, I don't know. That's a topic for another day. Things like infidelity. I am lucky in one very specific way, in that I am not a jealous person. Envy doesn't really motivate me. Jealousy doesn't motivate me. So I don't spend a lot of time thinking about infidelity, which is great. But I know for some people it is an all-consuming thing. I am very, very confused, Hemp Rocks. Anyways, we'll put a pause on that. We'll get ourselves another bag going. Gotcha. I see now, King Yeti. You can change your name, just like I think Twitter does the same, where you can change your name, but you have to have like the original count stays the same, so that but that you can alter the fun one that people see. Okay. Let's get another bag going. King Yeti, this one will be for you and your also for Roots Calhouns. Hemp Rock says, you trust your woman? Weird, a strange question, but the answer is I trust my partner completely, totally, 100%. But I also, I guess, and then I promise I'll get off this because it's such a strange line of questioning. But furthermore, I guess my definition of trust is different in that I trust that question seems to me to be, do you believe that your partner has not done something that you have condoned or not condoned her to do, him or her? We'll keep this universal. When it comes to the partner that I have in life, it's not that I just trust them, it's that I respect them so totally that I just, there's not I don't, I don't feel like policing somebody and their behavior, or does somebody need permission from me to do whatever it is that they may or may not want to do. I'm not saying anything of that sort has happened or whatever happened, but I don't know. I don't dwell on those thoughts. Grovel, you're probably very correct. Rhode Island Hiker, excellent question. I am still playing Monster Hunter. I would like to stream it this week. I can't promise anything. I've been playing a lot of whatever the expansion's called for Rise, Sunbreak, something. Don't remember what exactly. Been playing a lot of it. Kind of addicted to it as I get with Monster Hunter. Monster rank 5 now, I think. Still playing it solo, but it's great. It's so much fun. I love the new Monster Hunter expansion. I know some people said it started slow, which I guess is true, but I find slaying even the same monsters that I fought for 100 hours before still quite satisfying. So, no complaints from me. I would like to stream some more Monster Hunter soon. GTR Zero, thank you. Yes, it is a strange topic, and that's why we're moving on. A great perspective, King Yeti. I appreciate your wisdom in that regard. anyways, we've got our bag here. That this is for King Yeti, and I've just been so dying to talk about a book that I just finished and started last week. Oh, Grovel. I would like to hear more about. I think it's perhaps Omori. Omor. I don't actually know how to say it, but I've heard very interesting things about it recently. It's the new. It's on Game Pass, I believe. Adventure-ish game that seems to be horror-ish related. Let me know if it's something I should play. I have Game Pass. Um, I have been playing so many more adventure-y games recently, including I've got just a few minutes left on the 40 hours I put into this unbelievably epic Switch and PlayStation game called 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. That's not what I want to talk about, even though that is a fascinating, rich subject. I'm going to talk about a book for a moment. One that blew my absolute fucking socks off, totally, completely. It's one of the book times where I read something, I just like, I cannot shut up about it. I pester my poor aforementioned partner incessantly about it. And that book is, oh shit, Until We Cease to Understand the World. Let me make sure I got that title correct. I think that is it. Yes, When We Cease to Understand the World. Excuse me. This book is truly, absolutely fucking incredible. A piece of nonfiction that came out last year, I think by an Israeli guy. It's translated into English, so it's not in its original tongue. But it is about a bunch of German, Austrian, Central European physicists and scientists, primarily physicists, and primarily right around the turn of the 20th century or the 19th century into the 20th century and also into World War II, about a bunch of brilliant physicists who and mathematicians, things who whose brains basically collapsed in on themselves and their stories. It's just absolutely incredible. I love. I mean, I thought I knew my history of your Heisenbergs, your Schrodinger's, your Schwarzschilds. I thought I knew their stories, but it is stories of those titans of modern physics. You know, your founders of quantum physics and your creators of the wave function. Things that are so unbelievably profound, true stories in their lives that I cannot believe in some ways that they're actually real, that this guy didn't just make them up, because how would I have ever heard them? But I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to ignore the fact that basically every person who created our modern concept of physics was experiencing apocalyptic wet dreams constantly throughout their young adult lives as they are coming up with things like quantum physics. We're going to ignore that. And we're going to go to a man that I had never heard of before. A man who is considered by many the greatest mathematician of the 20th century, which again, I don't know how I could have not heard of. Grothendieck. Grothendieck is this physicist, a nationless physicist, mathematician, who, to say he revolutionized mathematics in the 20th century would be an understatement. He revolutionized many fields of mathematics and also invented several whole cloth. And then he started to go crazy. He was a family man, big family, a lot of children, and eventually his search for the dark heart at the soul of mathematics, which is how he described it, drove him to disavow his family, disavow his children, turn his home into a refuge for society's most unfortunate folks. Everything just sort of a snowball in this guy's life. And eventually, this dude who, again, was considered by everybody who met him to be a total and complete genius, dropped off the face of the earth and moved into France to become a hermit, disavowed his mathematics, burned everything he ever touched, proclaimed that the stuff that he saw at the heart of mathematics is coming to destroy us all, blah, 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 blah. And at the same time, this story parallels this story of this Japanese mathematician that I had never heard of as well. He is still currently living, this Japanese mathematician. And his claim to fame, also, everybody claims this guy who's ever met this dude, total genius. Nobody thinks that he's not a complete and utter genius. Oh my God, I realize I'm rambling. I just, we'll get to the part of it. Let me finish this bag, which I've been promising for a while. Anyways, okay. Another super famous Japanese mathematician, contemporary guy, proclaims he can solve the most infamous conjecture in mathematics that you technically can't solve, that A plus B equals C, whatever. And he proclaims that he had solved it. The problem is that in order to solve this most basic of all conjectures, but is also the most sort of profoundly hard to prove, is that he had to create an entire new field of mathematics in order to do so, and nobody can understand the mathematics that this guy created, this new Japanese guy, to solve this most problematic conjecture and most simple. And nobody literally understands him. They don't think that he's lying. They just think that his brain is too far sort of beyond ours to actually simplify it. And this guy then, after publishing his results on his blog, refuses to explain his work ever. He doesn't ever explain it in any capacity. He doesn't expand upon it. And at some point, he does the Grothendieck thing and disavows it and threatens to sue anybody who ever publishes any point of his work, and starts burning his stuff, and his brain seems to sort of be collapsing in on the same. It's a fascinating story. So you've got these two guys, two brilliant mathematicians who seem to be unfortunately overcome by whatever is in their brain that allows them to come up with these brilliant hypotheses and theories. It seems to also consume them. And then the story ends with this twist that is, I don't want to spoil it in case anybody does ever read it. I don't know if this is a good enough summation to get anybody excited, but the story of these two parallel mathematicians who are both considered to be unparalleled geniuses and also nutcases beyond belief has a ending that is as profound as anything I've ever heard, and so shocking and moving and surprising that it truly makes me think that this book, which was like, I think on New York Times like best of list from last year, might be fake, because I cannot find anywhere in this world where any source that this author has proclaimed of this ending of this chapter has happened. Anyways, sorry to ramble. I was just, if you are in the mood for a great piece of short nonfiction, and you like excellent writing, I mean, just excellent writing, and you like stories of people who lose their effing shit, check out When We Cease to Understand the World. I devoured it in like 2 days. It was, I mean, amazing. Okay. Well, I will get back to chat. I am so started. So sorry for how far behind I am. Let's see. Looks like Hemperox has been given a timeout. Thank you, Grovel. I appreciate that. That was probably certainly for the best. Okay. let's go grab ourselves a dab. Let's finish this bag, dab it up. All right. Okay, let's do a quick dab. Gravel, our OG, first and best. What do we call it? Mod. Mod, that's the term. This dab is for you. Let's get it on our pail here. This one's pretty big. Shit. Wasn't so bad. Neat. Now the trick is, I started using a balancing stool instead of a computer chair recently, very recently. And I'm not too proud to admit, I'm close, but I'm not too proud to admit I have gone ass over tea kettle twice so far. And been doing a lot of weed. I figure that probably cannot help with my balance. So, if I start spinning too, that's also like, because you wobble on two axes. Anyways, Gravel, I missed your comment about Omori. And that was, you just started. It's weird, but in a good way. I do love weird. I've been playing a lot more weird games recently. I think I mentioned some of them will come up as future cherries on top. I finally played Doki Doki Literature Club recently, as weird as games get. Inscription, my favorite game from 2021. Very weird. And I'm just about done with the weirdest game I've seen and played in some time, since probably Doki Doki. And also one of the most unusual games I've ever played, not something normally like me. I guess it's bizarre. This is supposed to happen in your teens or 20s, not when you are 30 something. However 30 something I am. I'm getting more into like anime-y and stuff now than I ever was growing up. I was even like disdainful of it at times. But I've been reading manga for a while, been watching older animes, and playing more games that are sort of styled after such. And I don't know where it really came from. I don't know when it's wise. I sort of like, oh, I'll check out all this cool anime manga stuff that the kids are raving about. But I have, and not super recently, in the last like 5 years or so. And it's been great. I love weird, creepy, eldritchy shit. The Japanese do it so well. And I've been playing I almost finished with, I believe it is on the PlayStation 4 and 5, and on the Switch, Well, thank you so much for following whoever just followed us. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. It was on the old Twitch. Thank you, thank you. And well, where was I? 13 Sentinels. What a strange, weird game. I'd heard about it for quite a while. Didn't know exactly what it was, but I heard people saying, if you like X and Y, you're gonna love this. And I always love the X's and Y's mentioned, so I was like, I'll check this out. I've been playing on the Switch. It is made by developers that I actually played games on from the past, Vanillaware. I played it PSP game of theirs that I love called Odin Sphere. PSP. That's how old we're talking here, like circa 2008. Great 2D action RPG side scrolly thing. This game, however, is a adventure sci-fi, like adventures, maybe even overselling it in that it's basically just the 90% of the game is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful watercolor art of these young teenagers in high school, and beautiful watercolor backgrounds of Japan at various times, from the 1940s up to the 2100s. Again, I can't describe how beautiful this art is and how weird it is to see watercolor stuff in video games, but it's stunning artwork. And all it is you go from point A to point B, move your character on a 2D plane in these beautiful backgrounds, talking to people and advancing the plot. There's nothing more to it than that. Like, there's no, you're not even like trying to solve anything. you're not, it's much better or more accurate to call it a visual novel than a game. Like, there's no mystery as to what you're doing. And there are a bunch of teenagers in a story that I'm not even going to bother to explain. And then the other 10% of the game is an intense, crazy mecha strategy game played from a top-down perspective, where you play a 2-minute slice of game in real time. You do get to pause, but you have to basically just survive in this top-down strategy game with just vast numbers, swarms of enemies coming at your little anime characters in their mecha suits. And it's a super fun strategy game if you're into strategy games. And the story is, and the reason it got me so interested is it is one of the most convoluted things I've ever seen attempted in storytelling. I guess, I mean, it has to ultimately be authored from one person, and I would love to have seen, when this thing is finished, I just would love to hear the director or whoever wrote it, how they plotted this whole thing out, because it's apparent that, I mean, this whole thing has to be, it deals with time travel very explicitly. Everything would have to be so incredibly carefully sequenced. And the way this game works is it's told from 13 different characters' perspectives. You're basically free to play those characters more or less whenever you want, and they are moving through this timeline, and you are only getting a bit of whatever is going on from each of them at each time, and they all interact and intersect with each other in unexpected ways. And it's the fact that you can kind of do it that way, that you can just go dip in from any of these character stories to another, in whatever way you want, these 13 disparate stories. It's like taking Lost and then chopping it all up, and then you get to pick whatever episode, whatever character you want to follow. Let's say you want to just follow one character from the show Lost forever. You could do that, like in this game, but it's written in such a way that, like, you won't feel like everything is spoiled for you if you follow just one character story. Like, oh well, I know how all this is going to end because I've seen sort of this whole timeline. It's not at all. You feel like you have to see every piece of this immense piece of storytelling in order to grasp it. Not that I feel like I do just yet, but just from a matter of scope and scale, if you just like intricate storytelling, 13 Sentinels is really kind of a category of its own. But you also have to be very tolerant of anime-y stuff, which I wasn't for a while. It's not as bad as some stuff I've seen, but I don't know how bad the spectrum of anime scale-y stuff is. But, you know, it's got precocious teens and melodrama and odd coincidences and all that stuff. So if that's off-putting to you, you can avoid it. But I've certainly had a blast with it. And even if it all falls apart at the end and doesn't coalesce into something pretty great, I think I've enjoyed it enough that I'd be willing to forgive it. Anyways, so sorry for that very long ramble. That big ass dab got me all verklempt. The opposite of verklempt, unverklempt. Spew-klimped. Okay, welcome. Bent from some hemp. Welcome. M said he was normal down. Don't know what that means. Well, welcome, Bent from some hemp. I'm so sorry it took me so long to say hello. Mark, thanks for joining us again, man. How are you doing, my friend? Thanks for hanging out with us today. Bent from some... Woof. Don't understand it. Rhode Island Hiker says, I've been loving my Quest 2 and I have not picked up my Xbox or Switch. And Rhode Island Hiker, I'm sorry, I did see your comment earlier. Yes, I've had a Quest 2 since it came out. I still have my Quest 1. I was about to say I still have my Oculus, my original CV one, but I actually did sell it like 2 years ago. So I only have a Quest and a Quest 2 now. But you don't really need a CV1 anymore. I think you can find me if you want to add me as a friend. But by the way, Rhode Island Hiker, Wheats should be my name on Meta. Please add me. I would love to hang out. What games have you been? Excuse me. What games have you been playing, Rhode Island Hiker? I'm curious what you've dove into. Are you sticking with the Beat Saber? Have you fought Darth Vader? Are you doing some more esoteric stuff like Robo Recall or what's my? Oh, there's a great one that I always recommend to people: Fisherman, The Fisherman's Journey, The Fisherman's Tale. That's a deeper cut. Love it. Gadgeteer. I'm just saying names now. Bent from some hemp says, ever heard of Vlad the Impaler? Of course, I've heard of Mr. Impaler, bent from some hemp. Vlad Dracul. You know, one of history's infinitely, who knows what is true about, even if there was such a man. Because we have things in books, history books, just because there's a primary source that says, or something that we believe to be a primary source that says that Vlad the Impaler, Vlad Dracul was real, doesn't necessarily still actually mean it was real. It's one of those caveats we just don't teach enough about history, that like history is just the best guess, man, and it is probably wrong. Just because we've got primary sources that say something happened does not mean that primary source was accurate or truthful. there are, especially if a document has survived for such a long time, there's a reason for it. Anyways, but we'll ignore the fallacies of teaching history for now. But yes, I have heard of Mr. Vlad. Why do you ask? Bent from some. GTR says the last time I played a game was the days of Counter-Strike. Well, GTR Zero, maybe you'll be surprised, maybe you won't be, I don't know, to know that Counter-Strike is basically as popular as ever, which is still weird to me. I've never known any, like, I actually don't know anybody who plays any of the most popular games. Like, but especially the hardcore, like, mill shooters. I've never known a Counter-Strike player, a serious Counter-Strike player, but what's the popular one? Counter-Strike Go? CSGO? Still crazy, crazy popular. I've never actually played Counter-Strike ever, I don't think. I mean, I played Half-Life, you know, I think it's where it was modded from, I think. But I don't like competitive games. I mostly don't play anything competitive anymore. When I was in college, I played my fair share of Halo, but I just I'm not a competitive person. So I don't play a lot of online video games. Let's get another bag going, by the way. Say hello to the dog. That's the dog. Okay. Okay. Oh, well, thank you. It's just me, Mark. I'm sorry I just got to that comment. I appreciate the follow there on Twitch from Candy. That's very kind. Um, and Grovel says he just finished the Demon Slayer manga. Heard great things about it. It's one that somebody been trying the show, I guess. There's Demon Slayer anime too, right? There's the movie or something. Somebody, a friend of mine, very much recommends that too. But the one that I've been considering, and let me know if there are any fans of it out here in chat. I would love to. I've heard so many recommendations and endorsements. I've never watched an anime show. Only movies. Never TV shows. But I'm ready to invest in one. Is Attack on Titan the one that I should do? Let me know. It's been sitting there, like on a whatever streaming service it's on. It's been sitting on that watch list for so long. So many people have said, "Oh, you've got to do it. It's the one you should do." You guys could push me over the edge, and I could be hitting that play button this evening. Oh, well, we have somebody on Twitch who says that no, it's not. Well, hello, by the way, M Rabid, and thank you. M Rabid says the first season is good, but it gets lost super quick in later seasons. Okay, well, M Rabid, thank you. I really appreciate the candid. Demon Slayer is good. Okay, well, is it available, M Rabid, on anything other than Demon Slayer? Is it available on Hulu, Netflix, HBO, or do you have to do like a Crunchyroll or whatever to get it? If it's not something I have right now, which is all of those that I just mentioned, I will commit. And Rabbit says they think they watched it on Hulu. Well, you know what? I've got a computer sitting right here in front of me. As a matter of fact, I've got like 3 of them. I can go to this Hulu website right now, and we can confirm live. M. Rabbit, this is so nice of you, by the way. And also of you, Grovel, I think you had mentioned Demon Slayer as well. And somebody also mentioned, GTR Zero mentioned One Man Punch. So, well, obviously not. Search. Here we go. Demon Slayer. It's here. Plus, thank you. I did it. I added it to my stuff. I really, truly appreciate it. M. Rabbit. Oh, and you did the work for me. You had already done the work for me, which is even kinder of you. I guarantee you, I will start watching it this week. I promise. Cross my heart, hope to die. Stick a needle in my eye. I have not heard that expression in a long time. And shit, that's awful. Stick a needle in my eye. Eb Rabbit says, Demon Slayer is super anime. It's one of those that will turn chibi sometimes and that they might not recommend it as your first. Warning taken. I appreciate the warning very much, M. Rabbit. But I think I'm still going to commit. We've got Grovel over on YouTube also suggesting it. And I've heard enough good things from another friend of mine. And I think I have built up just enough of a layer of tolerance of the more harder to digest parts of the anime experience. And I know how bad that comes across, but some of it I do have trouble watching. But I'm going to give it a shot. Thank you, Ed Rabbit. All right. This bag is then for you. Let's get caught up on our YouTube chat as well. I think we've got some friends coming in from before. Ryan Guard. Hello, welcome. Says, since you mentioned anime, I checked. Didn't realize, but Dragon Ball Superhero was released in Japan on June 11th. For him, that's top level commercial anime and can't wait to check it out. I do not mean to ask this question. I ask it in 100% sincerity, and that is Dragon Ball is still coming out. Like, when I was watching Dragon Ball, because I was a middle schooler once in the Dragon Ball Z era, I thought it was done, but then it just seems like there's always more stuff, which of course is the way it works, but has Dragon Ball never not been producing new things? Or why was I ever under the misconception that, like, oh, it's Dragon Ball it's a completed thing. I did love it in high school. I think I was there I started at Dragon Ball Z, the start of it. Vegeta, the beginning of the Vegeta saga. I did Frieza. And I did the one after Frieza, and that was it for me. Whatever. And I don't even know if I made it to, was it Boo? It's been a long time. That's where my Dragon Ball journey came to an end. But I did watch it in middle school on Toonami, like many a good millennial. Okay. Eb Rabbit says Dragon Ball is anime the same as Pokemon anime. It's diet anime, like Yu-Gi-Oh, which I heard the creator of just died. So pour one out to the Yu-Gi-Oh creator. I'm sure you were a lovely guy. Never watched your show or played your cards, but you made a lot of happy times for a lot of children and made a lot of people very rich, I'm sure. Wow, it looks like we have a lot of anime fans in chat, which is refreshing and nice to know that I have a place to go to always go for more recommendations once Demon Slayer has been digested. Looks like we got Eric Nephron in. Welcome. Looks like I thought I saw Stephanie. Hello. If so, welcome. Thanks for joining us, Steph. Oh, there you are. Yes, I see. Tony is here. Welcome. And thank you so much. Grovel also warns don't watch the movie of Demon Slayer before you watch the anime, as the movie is uh, in the middle of the anime, the whole show experience, which is great advice. And one thing I did already know. I also know this because that there was a time, and I think it probably still holds it, and it's such a weird thing. It's only as a matter of circumstance that this is correct. Demon Slayer actually, I think, holds box office record for highest opening weekend for a foreign language film. My dog is now very upset with me. She might have to get. And It's Just Me, Mark has a great remedy for the stick a needle in my eye, which is the edited version, which he just came up with, I assume, and it's great. Cross my heart, hope to die. I promise to do it, even if I'm high. Delightful. It's Just Me, Mark. And if I can remember it, I will gladly adopt that. If I don't, I promise to do it. Cross my heart, hope to die. I promise to do it, even if I'm high. That's my pledge to you. And hello, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. And sorry for missing your there. Newt, easy girl. Okay, let's do another dab for the recently deceased creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Never owned a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, but I know enough to say this is for you and all those blue eyes, white dragons, blue something something dragons from the memes to the memes. And I hope I don't come across as an asshole because I'm not trying to be. I'm not incredibly 100% sincere either. I don't really know Yu-Gi-Oh, but I know people liked it. So, to Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess. I hope I'm not being an asshole. Yu-Gi-Oh. Whoa, this is gonna be rough. Whew. All right, I'm gonna. Inflate a bag here and do a final bag with everybody on this live stream. Dedicate it to not just Yu-Gi-Oh, but to everybody who's been hanging out with us and everybody who watched the premiere. It was so great to be back. And as I was mentioning earlier, if you weren't here, there will be new Wheats videos for a while. We've got, I promise, at least, cross my heart, even if something, even if I'm high, that there will be at least new stuff for 1 month, and hopefully many more. But I'll give you at least a month's worth of stuff coming out, which is 2 videos a week, 2 reviews a week, all new stuff. Nothing from the backlog. These are all things shot in the past, I don't know, 2 months or so. So I will be back with more live streams too. I will definitely be at the bare minimum live streaming after the premieres of these reviews, and hopefully more than that too. If my dog allows it, she seems to be quite upset with me. Ooh, I just started. I live close to a court, like a basketball court, but old people play. Senior citizens play pickleball on it, and I've just been hearing enough about pickleball, how great it is, and how it's going to save us all for a long time. For long enough that I'm like, okay, I'll finally do this. And I bought a pickleball racket and some pickleballs. I've never played it, but I've been hitting pickleballs back and forth on a racquetball court for a long time, building up the courage to eventually ask some kind old folks if they would allow me to play pickleball with them on their converted basketball court. But while doing that, I'm like, well, why don't I just play racquetball then? If I'm already on these courts and I like hitting a ball against a wall. So I've been playing a shit ton of not racquetball because I guess it's really a sport where you know rules and have to understand things. But I've really enjoyed letting out my inner middle schooler and just smacking a racquetball against a wall for a long time. And hitting it with racquetball racket. That seems redundant to say, but I guess you must specify. It's fun. I played just a pathetically tiny amount of squash when I was in college with a friend. So I always like hitting things, and I'm terrible at tennis. So these ones that are like easier tennis, it's great. I've been spending more and more time in the outside world recently. It's beautiful out. I've been playing a lot of racquetball, and my beloved One Wheel has been getting a lot of use recently. So cherry on top, I guess, at the end of our live stream here, to wrap it all together, is if it's not unbearably hot where you're at, which I think is probably true for many people, unfortunately, on the northern hemisphere right now. Get outside. It's great. There's fun stuff out there. But if you are in an area where it is ungodly hot, I am sorry. Especially Mark. Did it break 40 degrees Celsius there? Was that I heard it was predicted that it might happen, that you guys might break that unbelievable 40°C barrier. Did it happen? If so, I hope you guys are okay. I understand you Europeans are like us Southern Californians in that you don't have air conditioning as a default in your place. Even it might even be rarer there. But unlike us here in beloved Long Beach, where it's 73 out right now, you know, it's not a guarantee that you can survive comfortably without it still. I cannot overstate how lucky I am to live in Long Beach, California, where I don't think we've had a month that has hit 80. I don't think we've had one all of June or July yet. I think we've gotten close. We've maybe hit some 78s and stuff, but just a few. But I don't think we've even hit 80 yet this summer season. Now our hottest is like September, but God, is it nice. And sorry to break. By the way, Reingard, I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, says Goku from Dragon Ball Z has reached a new power level for almost 40 years. He recently achieved Ultra Instinct Energy Restored power level. That's a power level of 15.6 septillion, which is 1 followed by how many zeros? Because septillion is after the one after a trillion. So, like, 12 zeros. Where am I already at a trillion? I can't add zeros right now. The easiest thing to do. But that's incredible. And Goku suffers from hyperinflation. Goku. What's gonna kill Goku is what killed the Weimar, right? It's shh, girl. Hey, chill. It's hyperinflation. You let your power level run amok. When you start with over 9,000, the problem is you escalate the numbers so incredibly fast. Like, you gotta start lower. I don't remember what the guy's name is who wears the underpants and sees Goku or Gohan powering up, and he's like, "It's over 9,000." I don't remember what his name was, but the writers and everybody should have just said, like, "Oh, he's over 6," because the next time, you don't have to go like, "Oh God, he's over 50,000" to make it sound great. You could go like, "Oh shit, dog is at 20," and that sounds great. And then 40 years later, as Ringard was pointing out, you don't get to 15.6 septillion. Maybe Goku's only at a power level of 10,000, right? Like, and that's a scale a human mind can conceive of. So, what's Toriyama? Whoever does Dragon Ball Z, now you know better. Shame on you. Dragon Ball Z, what a wonderful anime-centric live stream. Who knew it was going to go this way? I can't wait to start watching Demon Slayer. And I appreciate all the suggestions and recommendations from everybody. Raditz, GTR, 0. GTR, yes, Raditz, he's the one. The underpants guy with the visor. Again, if Raditz had said, he's over 5. I know it doesn't have quite the same ringing to it, but then we don't have over 15.6 septillion. He did the math. Well, guys, our bag is at an end. I am way higher than I intended to be. This is not as high as I planned to get. Whatever the inverse of that is. I didn't mean to get this high. I have some stuff to do, unfortunately, but it'll be fun. It'll be more fun now. Thankfully, it's nothing serious. But now I get to go take a nice walk outside. Very, very, very high. We were just talking about the outdoors. It's been wonderful hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for watching the live stream. Thanks to anybody who was there for the premiere. I'll be back on Thursday, if not sooner, maybe. But I'll definitely